song about nothing, or how bad times are still coming. Just bed down and keep on a trucking, so they say. It's time to shine, to draw the line, let me be. I grew a spot, I'm shooting at completely. Stand up, thank your mama that she made you. You bound to have a few girls play you. Tonight in a road at the Ranger, getting high. When I'm gone, I hope that you miss me. Used to drive to work on a 6-speed. The stars will shine when you kiss me tonight. Never live your life for tomorrow. I got a few tips that you can borrow. Pace yourself when you hit the bottle. It finds a way. Well, I can tell what I've been missing. I live a life of superstition. Didn't want to be in this position. Awful shame. It's time to shine, to draw the line. Let me be. I grew a spot, I'm shooting at completely. Stand up, thank your mama that she made you. You bound to have a few girls play you. Tonight in a road at the Ranger, we're getting high. When I'm gone, I hope that you miss me. Used to drive to work on a 6-speed. The stars will shine when you kiss me tonight. We're gonna make it in bed, write checks for money we haven't made yet. Try to stay in tap, but I can't sleep. Got no regrets, 'cause I paid my bills and I saved the rest. You'll be coming up flat when you can't speak. Speak. Stand up, thank your mama that she made you. You're bound to have a few girls play you. Tonight in a road at the Ranger, we're getting high. When I'm gone, I hope that you miss me. Used to drive to work on a 6-speed. The stars will shine when you kiss me tonight. Stand up, thank your mama that she made you. You're bound to have a few girls play you. Tonight in a road at the Ranger, we're getting high. Stand up, thank your mama that she made you. You're bound to have a few girls play you. Tonight in a road at the Ranger, we're getting high.
Ain't nobody stopping. Ain't nobody stopping.
Spiritual Sunday. Good evening, everyone. I am Jason of Awake Souls, and I'm joined by Ronnie Harris of the Limitless One. How are you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm excited. I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to be happy. I'm trying to be full of life. I thought that song was pretty entertaining. Kind of like one of those old, like, get you all clapping type songs, right? So we tried to bring something new to give us a fresh start. But yeah, it feels hot in here now. The AC off. I'm sweating. We're going to have to get some lighter clothing on these podcasts. But I'm looking forward to tonight. We've got a lot planned, right?
Yeah, we do. So let's go through that quickly. We plan on doing some reading in the book of Nephi. We're in 2nd Nephi. We would be at chapter 10. Here comes prophecies regarding Christ, Yahawahashai. So we'll see whether or not Nephi gets these prophecies correct. We'll see what else happens. There's a few other things to go through. So there was a solar eclipse yesterday evening for us, or afternoon, and we didn't get to see it, right? It was in South America. So there's a number of significant things about this solar eclipse prophecy-wise. And I want people to try to guess on their own what prophecy it might be that we could be saying that this would be a part of the fulfillment of. And then I also want to point out that this was prophetically referenced in IPAC Go 2. So anybody that's followed along and saw what IPEC Goat is, we're going to be going through a little bit of their prophecy that they have in their little mini film animation, and we're going to see just what point we're at in all this prophetically being fulfilled, because we're going to have a few things to line up between what the scriptures have to say prophetically about, I don't want to give it away too soon, what prophecy do you think we would be referencing as far as this partial solar eclipse that took place yesterday? So that's what we're going to be going through, and then there is a topic that you wanted to run through.
Not really.
Well,
I don't have to, it's not a topic to run through.
we got scripture to share, right?
Yeah, we've got that too.
Yeah.
So did you just want to get into that? Do you want me to tell the story and then we'll go into it? Is that what you're leading me with here? Is that what you're trying to say?
We could go down that route.
Okay, so one thing I want to let everybody know, when I see someone out there go, the Lord says this, or I had a prophetic dream. Am I muted? I've heard an echo. Whenever that stuff happens, I'm like, oh, like hex, I don't want to hear it. Plug my ears, even though I can't hear, but I mean, I'd plug them anyways. So I usually sleep to the scriptures. That's what I do. I use those hours to study more. That's just what I do. I find it soothing. And sometimes things happen strangely. So last night I started, let me preface this first by saying, I'll tell it this way. I started in the book of Psalms. Usually I don't listen to the 66 canon because I know it quite well. I've been through that book a lot, but I put it on. And I woke up, let's say 2 or 3 times. It was an excruciating night, but I'll save you the details. But I woke up and there was the same verse over and over again, including I woke up bright this morning. Like right away, I had to, I was thinking about Clue Level, but I had to force my mind onto what I was hearing. And it was the same scripture for the 3rd time. So I'm like, this is odd because it started in the book of Psalms and it reads the 66 canon consecutively, congruently. It just keeps going book after book after book, but it stopped. So I don't know how long of the night it was stuck on the book of Isaiah 41. So I was like, whoa, this is crazy. I started looking into it. First thing I told was Jason, after I got rid of the Clue Level thought and whatever else I was doing, gave my morning thanks and my prayer to the Heavenly Father. His will be done. Everybody knows I do it every day. And you all should too. I went, Jason, you got to hear this. So I told Jason, sent him the book. He was like, wow, it's talking about goldsmiths and carpenters and metal workers and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, I know. It also talked about Jacob. And I was like, that's weird. So I did a little bit of a search, and it turns out, weird enough, I don't know about you, Jason, you were named after your grandfather, your surname, your middle name, correct?
Yeah.
Not your sir, that's your middle.
William, it's my dad's dad.
Your dad's dad, your grandfather is what I said. Yes, I'm correct. Now, with me, there's this shrouded mystery. Again, the exact time I was born, we don't know fully. And I have the middle name James. Don't know how I got it. I asked both my parents. I'm going to assume that I think it was my mom's mom. Maybe, I don't know. My mom doesn't know. I asked her, how did you choose the name James? She said, I don't know, your dad named you. So I go, I ask my dad. I'm sure everybody that's been a member of the team has heard this story, but I'm going to reiterate it. My dad, I don't know how you got that name. I wouldn't have picked it. Your mom picked that name. So I had both parents saying, we don't know how you got the name James. So I do a little research this morning. What does the name James mean? Oh, what's this? The name James actually means Jacob. So in the scriptures, when you have the 2 Jameses, you're seeing they're both called Jacob, right? So I was like, this is super weird. I was woken up 3 times, including this morning, with this exact scripture, just a little bit into Isaiah 41. So I want to play it for you guys. Again, thus did not say the Lord, the sky did not open up, a shining beam of light did not come down and crown me upon my head. None of this happened. All I'm telling you is, for some reason, it got stuck on Isaiah 41, and I heard it over and over and over again. Yes, 7:47 p.m. was a time that we've discussed. Almost 8:48, right? Would have been on the central time. That would have been 8:48. But you guys, this is crazy. So when Jason takes the screen share, we get into this. It's like, wow, why is it that this scripture was stuck? I didn't hit repeat on it. It just stuck that way. And I don't know. I just think it's crazy. We'll share with you guys. I don't know what it means at all. I'm not saying that I had this revelation. Like I said, the sky did not open up. I didn't float up into the sky. It's just me, but I think it's crazy. And it was crazy enough to know. enough about me. Let's go on. Let's do this.
Yeah, so we've got the scriptures up right now, and we're just going to let Max McLean read it for us because he does such a good job. I'll follow along. Let me know if there's any place that you want to stop. All right, brother?
Isaiah 41. Keep silence before me, O islands, and let the people renew their strength. Let them come near. Then let them speak. Let us come near together to judgment. Who raised up the righteous man from the east, called him to his foot, gave the nations before him, and made him rule over kings? He gave them as the dust to his sword, and as driven stubble to his bow. He pursued them, and passed safely, even by the way that he had not gone with his feet. Who hath wrought and done it, calling the generations from the beginning? I, the Lord, the first, and with the last, I am he. The isles saw it, and feared. The ends of the earth were afraid, drew near, and came. They helped every one his neighbor, and every one said to his brother, Be of good courage. So the carpenter encouraged the goldsmith, and he that smootheth with the hammer him that smote the anvil, saying, It is ready for the soldering. And he fastened it with nails, that it should not be moved. But thou, Israel, art my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham my friend. Thou whom I have taken from the ends of the earth, and called thee from the chief men thereof, and said unto thee, Thou art my servant, I have chosen thee, and not cast thee away. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee, yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. Behold, all they that were incensed against thee shall be ashamed and confounded. They shall be as nothing, and they that strive with thee shall perish. Thou shalt seek them, and shalt not find them, even them that contended with thee. They that war against thee shall be as nothing, and as a thing of naught. For I, the Lord thy God, will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, Fear not, I will help thee. Fear not, thou worm Jacob, and ye men of Israel. I will help thee, saith the Lord. And thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, behold, I will make thee a new sharp threshing instrument having teeth. Thou shalt thresh the mountains, and beat them small, and shalt make the hills as chaff. Thou shalt fan them, and the wind shall carry them away, and the whirlwind shall scatter them. And thou shalt rejoice in the Lord, and shalt glory in the Holy One of Israel. When the poor and needy seek water, and there is none, and their tongue faileth for thirst, I, the Lord, will hear them. I, the God of Israel, will not forsake them. I will open rivers in high places, and fountains in the midst of the valleys. I will make the wilderness a pool of water, and the dry land springs of water. I will plant in the wilderness the cedar, the shittah tree, and the myrtle, and the oil tree. I will set in the desert the fir tree and the pine, and the box tree together, that they may see and know and consider and understand together that the hand of the Lord hath done this, and the Holy One of Israel hath created it. Produce your cause, saith the Lord. Bring forth your strong reasons, saith the King of Jacob. Let them bring them forth, and show us what shall happen. Let them show the former things, what they be, that we may consider them, and know the latter end of them, or declare us things for to come. Show the things that are to come hereafter, that we may know that ye are gods. Yea, do good or do evil, that we may be dismayed and behold it together. Behold, ye are of nothing, and your work of naught. An abomination is he that chooseth you. I have raised up one from the north, and he shall come. From the rising of the sun shall he call upon my name. And he shall come upon princes as upon mortar, and as the potter treadeth clay. Who hath declared from the beginning that we may know, and before time that we may say he is righteous? Yea, There is none that showeth, yea, there is none that declareth, yea, there is none that heareth your words. The first shall say to Zion, Behold, behold then, and I will give to Jerusalem one that bringeth good tidings. For I beheld, and there was no man, even among them, and there was no counselor that when I asked of them could answer a word. Behold, they are all vanity, their works are nothing, their molten images are wind and confusion.
Yeah, so that was Isaiah 41.
Isaiah 42.
I gotta
Behold my...
get the stuff.
It's another crazy scripture that follows it, but we're stopping there.
All right, so let us know, brother. That scripture showed up 3 times last night. And after having gone through and read it, what is it that stands out, jumps out at you?
It's basically an end times declaration, right? So
It is, yeah. The threshing floor, the chaff, the smashing of things, the potters stuff. That all just screams to me of the things that you hear in Revelation and Daniel referring to the Great Tribulation and really the wrath that comes upon the unrighteous, the Canaanites, the wicked ones.
if you just scroll up a bit,
Yeah, where do you want me to go?
slowly, and I'll look as you're going more and more up. Okay, right here in 21, we get an interesting reference to another character, right? King of who? It doesn't say King of David. That
No.
says King of Jacob.
Jacob. Yeah, who was
New
that?
title.
Who was that?
We don't know.
When
We don't. Right?
the Jacob that we know from Scripture.
But yeah, that was Israel, the father of the 12 tribes, right? So if we keep scrolling up, it seems basically that right there in 19, it's talking about bringing giant trees back to the desert. The firs, the Douglas firs, the things that are in the west coast of the United States. If you've ever been to the Redwoods or British Columbia, Vancouver, you can understand why having the fir trees in the desert is a big thing. You can't build big buildings without the fir trees. So that's interesting. There's a lot of parabolic stuff in this scripture. This is a very interesting scripture to have brought forth for us, just to look at, to go through. It's just talking about something great that the Father is going to do, right? He's saying, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it so that they know that I am the one who did this, right? Basically through this character is what he's saying.
Yeah, the making of that sharp threshing instrument. This parallels the other scriptures.
14, he tells them, don't you worry about the snakes and the worms. Don't worry about it, Jacob. I will help you, right?
Yeah.
Fear not. So yeah, I just thought it was interesting talking about righteousness, bringing up somebody from the north. Something shall be done. There's a scripture here that's going on.
Yeah, when things get pointed out a few times to me, I pay attention to what it was. And there's probably a good reason that this was pointed out to you. And thank you for sharing that, brother.
No problem. I didn't, sometimes doing these kinds of things I don't like to do. I don't like to do it. But this one I felt that it was special and we needed to hear it. So yeah, thanks, man. That was cool.
Yeah,
all glory to Yahweh, right? Everything that happens is all for him. Everything is through him, for him, to him, from him.
The eclipse that happened yesterday. We've got it's in the thumbnail. This article is where I took the picture from. It says residents of El Cafate and other towns enjoyed the partial solar eclipse. So it says 13 hours ago. This was yesterday afternoon. And so these pictures are scrolling through here. We'll get some stills of these, but I'll let you get an idea of what it was that they were seeing. And this is Argentina. All right. So right here, this is what we call the horns. All right. They show some rodeo guys. Let's take a closer look at these pictures. We've got this will be when the eclipse is beginning. We know this because the sunset is actually what finished this eclipse, right? So you only see the bite or the Pac-Man look at the beginning of it, and we'll see what it looks like at its set. So here a little bigger, here a little bigger. Now this is the one that I used for the the thumbnail, this actually looks like the mast of a sailboat here, and you see a little bit of haze and clouds here. I ask you to pay attention to sort of this colorization that you see on the sun right here, because it might show up in the animation that we take a look at in just a second. But so you can see that as it's coming into its setting position, and the moon is directly overhead, it will be as this comes down to the horizon. Let's see, they don't actually have the best picture of it as a still picture, so let's go look at it right here. So this will change, I'll bring it back. So this is the set with the moon directly creating that horns scenario right here. Now, I want to point out where this all took place, and this is going to get into a topic where we're going to be talking about the precession of the equinox, and that's a heliocentric term, right? Isn't that where you usually hear the precession of the equinox, brother? I'll just keep going here. So, showing here on Stellarium, we're going to show you the precession of the equinox, but first off, what I want to do is show you that eclipse. So that happened yesterday, and let's get to the time. That was around, where was it? Right around here. Now what I want to do is show you this in the south, right? Because it was the very tip of South America, Argentina down here. So now let's get this in position for what they saw, sunset. Remember, when you're in the south, all of this is happening from your right going to your left, right? So it's flipped down south. So you can see that right here, we're close to the eclipse. So this is 1420 yesterday, and they haven't eclipsed yet, but look at where this is setting up. Where is this setting up, everybody? That's a foot of something right there. Let's go back an hour to see what that's a foot of.
It's like a hoof.
A hoof, right? Is that a lamb on its back right there?
That'd be Aries.
Yeah, so here we have Aries on its back, and the eclipse is going to take place in the hoof of Aries. So this is the lamb. This is what we're looking for in order to identify the month of Nisan. Passover takes place in the month of Nisan, and here we have an eclipse. So the prophecy, I don't know if anybody tried guessing, I wasn't able to keep a look at the chat, but the prophecy that we're talking about being fulfilled is the sun being darkened, right? The sun being darkened. So if we just scroll this ahead a little bit, the sun is going to be darkened. All right, so right around this point right here, if we zoom in, there's that bite of the eclipse taking place here. And as we roll this through, it gets closer and closer and closer, but the moon comes up over the top, and so that as it's setting at the horizon, you've got the horns. All right, so that is a totally cool eclipse.
Partial eclipse, right?
Partial eclipse. And I think partial eclipses might be the coolest because they're the ones that create the horns. If it's an annular eclipse and they line up and they're the same size, you don't get the horns, right? So the fact that the horns were visible, I want to show everybody this location, this El Cafate in Argentina is down here. So I just want you to recognize this area of South America. You got this peninsula of Antarctica coming up like this. You've got this coming down. Now this is some icy area. If you see the picture up here, you got glaciers, right? So
Sure, it's not El Caliphate.
Yeah, well, it could be
Just
caliphate.
saying. I don't know. I'm
I
not
was
to correct you. That's for sure.
Well, caliphate sounds like
Or yeah, an Islamic thing, right?
it does sound like an
Jihad.
Islamic thing. So
We're
I
gonna
was
get a
sort of like
strike if we talk about this
mispronouncing it intentionally. So here's that location here. All right, they got this big lake. And remember, because we're after the equinox, the sun is going to be setting to the north of west. And so they're going to have a sunset across this lake here with these snow-capped mountains as the backdrop. I mean, it's gorgeous. I can show you more footage of it later, but I just wanted to point out where we are looking right now. And now, as far as New World Order propaganda prophecy is considered, I would like
satanic prophecy.
I would like to direct people now. This is the iPet Goat by Heliofant. It says 5,541,000 views, published September 25th, 2013. So I went through and watched this again today. Actually, both of us did. And both of us had a huge amount of this video that seemed brand new to us, like we had never seen it before. And I'm not positive whether or not I had seen the whole thing before. Ronnie knows that he had, and he agreed with the exact same scenes that I saw that I didn't remember. Now, we're not going to be going through all of it because some of it's R-rated. Literally R-rated. We're just going to be focusing on a section here, but for those that are curious, if you go through this video again, you might end up seeing some stuff that you don't remember. But we're going to focus on this section, and this is right before the scene that we want to look at. But I want to point this out. What is it that stands out? You've got a guy in this goo, and he's holding a hammer, and here is a sickle. All right, so most people should be able to put together the hammer and sickle, what that represents. It, all right, that is meant to represent proletarian solidarity. This was first adopted during the Russian Revolution. So here we have the symbols for the Russian Revolution. This guy is gonna, symbolically die in this yellow goo. He's got Juanita, right, and a tattoo on his arm over here. A little bit more. There could be additional deciphering done, but that's not the point of all this. Let's go ahead and get to what the point of this is now. All right. So here's the point of it. We've got this tiger on the back here, and most of the truthers have already heard who this is. For those that haven't heard about it yet, it's funny when you do a search. Guess who covers this?
So many people.
But the big name, YouTube puts him up first.
Casey.
Enter
I didn't even have to guess. I didn't have to guess, bro. I already knew. Come on, you're gonna give that to me, huh? Let's go.
All right, so
Casey, get you your satanic decodes every morning. Tune in.
Casey covered this, and this is on some other channel here. I don't know. See, he actually shows nudity in his videos, so we can't play it.
Oh, yeah, they'll take me down. Don't do it. The miniature hat people are watching, bro.
But I'll show you. He covers this. This is an article from March 3rd, 2022. And his coverage shows how Angelina Jolie shares an update on the Ukrainian refugees. He goes into covering this.
Something weird is happening with Angelina Jolie. And as you know, she has become an outspoken spokesperson against the aggression in the Ukraine. As you can see here, this is just hours ago. She seems to be very concerned about the refugees and, getting up and speaking about all this. So she has become a spokesperson. Except here's the problem. All of this has already happened in iPet Go 2. Watch this. Now, I got this in slow motion. I'll turn the sound off so you don't have to hear that awful slow motion sound. But what you're going to see here is a woman with a tiger on her back after this guy. Well, of course, there is the sickle. So we have the Russia component to this. This guy drowning in nuclear waste. You have to wonder if this isn't about Chernobyl, the nuclear waste. The hammer and sickle there. I mean, this is just crazy, guys. It's all happening right now. Now, this guy has a tattoo on here, and people have done a lot of work on this tattoo, but it's very hard to decrypt this tattoo. It says something about Juan Pepe or something. Juanita or Juanita. And it's like a heart with it's like a heart tattoo. Don't know what that might be. This person looks Hispanic kind of, so why they're holding a sickle and hammer is weird, but we do know the sickle and hammer is Rushka. So let's keep watching here. Let me make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see this. Because what you're going to see next is Angelina Jolie waving a white flag in front of tanks that are invading a country, which is pretty much what's happening right now. Look at this. Now, there have been many theories about as to what this is all about. On the front of this tank, you see a pyramid with an all-seeing eye on top. And these lights flash green and white, or green and red, as they roll into town. And here you see the Angelina Jolie character. Now, different theories we've had in the past is that this could be...
All right, so he's going to point out the tiger on the back here. Then he's going to take it to this article, which actually does get graphic, so we're not going to just keep playing this. But this is supposedly the tiger on the back of Angelina. So it has the same head turn as the head turn that you see in the artwork in the iPad goat. They're nearly identical. And so he's connecting Angelina Jolie to the iPad goat character, right?
Those are hips. Not much hips.
And
looks like my hips. What's going on? Doesn't look like my hips. Sorry, let's keep going.
And so let's go ahead and finish how this Angelina Jolie scene goes here. So she gets grabbed by a character, turns around with like a angry face. You see that? She's anti-nukes. She's against the nukes. All right.
All up the fist of the sky.
And then all of a sudden, boom, boom, boom. Right. And then this character.
Got the swirls all over him.
Swirls all over
Bad
him.
News.
So one could hypothesize that this is the nukes and this is the world stage, and she's rebuking the world.
The marker. She's just a marker. They sent her in. She's a prop.
Yeah.
Not rebuking anything.
Right.
Sorry.
And then she's rebuffed and turns away, glim.
And she's got the same kind of face tattoo as the Antichrist character in the video as well. Or we don't know what he is.
Alright, so there was another scene that we got to go through. Where is that?
It's at the end.
Is it
You're looking for the part with the sun and the moon? Yes.
Well, I'm looking.
Sign of the scorpion. Scorpio. What you looking for?
No, I'm not looking for that.
What?
No.
Okay.
What
are you looking for?
I'm looking for. Where is it?
Yeah, you see the tattoo on his face. So the girl Angelina character had it too. He's got it on under his right eye. Right? Interesting markers that they're talking about, birthmark type things. Bunch of stuff in this is super weird.
Where is?
I don't know which section you're looking for.
South America. The whole reason.
The
whole reason why we are going through this.
It's with the tanks. I think it's just after this.
I don't see it.
Towards the end.
It's not. What happened to the Antarctica scene? Not, yeah, I mean, South
Where
America.
the tanks were. Because there were rows of tanks and then the land.
Yeah, see, it goes. It's not in this section.
Not that section. Keep going. It's got to be closer to the end. Is it there? No.
I went through the end. We went through this twice today. How are we not finding it now?
Maybe it's closer to the beginning.
Oh, yeah, Bin Laden, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So where's...
Yeah, that's the scene I remember close to. There it is, right there in the sky.
Yeah, but
That's what you're looking for.
yeah, it's the
Right
setup.
there.
It's the
There's your
setup to that
horns.
scene.
Oh,
It shows the landmass. Oh, I can't.
yeah. Keep letting it go. It's after this. First, we have the symbolism, as you can see here on the screen. You have the Star of not David, but their God, being displayed underneath the Statue of Liberty, surrounded in water.
All right, so this is. I know that scene played before this.
Is it right there? Psalm on there. Psalm 23, was it, or no?
Yeah, so there was a number of things. Yeah, Psalm 23 was written on the building there. We have the clock at midnight or noon. This looks like a Big Ben type thing. Here we got two towers, one that's impacted high. Starts to come down. Looks like something we've seen before, right? You got the symbolic divers, but we're still missing the key scene. I don't know how this is happening. The preview seems to skip right over.
Right there. It's that right there.
Yeah, this isn't the scene. Where's?
It's similar to that scene.
Yeah, it is similar to that scene, absolutely, but it's not that scene. Where?
There it is.
Oh,
Right there.
there it is. All right, so let's back this up. All right, so we've got icebergs down here, and you have a tip. You have a peninsula down here, and you have this light shining down at the very tip peninsula here. And this is the next scene then. So then this is the horned eclipse, right? You can even see the texture along the sun here. Here's the moon in it. The only thing that they don't have here is having it tip down the way it ends at the water. All right, so we've got a partial eclipse down here at an area at a tip of a land that's near icebergs. So I just want to point out again that the eclipse that we had yesterday had that partial eclipse, right, the horned one, from this area. This is that tip of South America. Here's the peninsula of Antarctica right here. So the movie's referencing this position right here, that video, and then it goes on to the Angelina Jolie scene after that. So that's a little bit further down. So we've got two things in IPEC GOAT. We've got this partial eclipse. We've got Angelina Jolie, both happening now. Like now. I'm just going to go through a few headlines here. Angelina Jolie makes surprise Ukraine visit, meets the children, right? She went to Ukraine to meet the children there. Next headline, Angelina Jolie makes surprise Ukraine visit, meets children, right? So this is Jolie in Ukraine CNN's covering this. Visits residents at a boarding school and medical institution in Ukraine, right? So everybody's just Jolie crazy in Ukraine right now. And this came out this afternoon. Check this out. Jolie running for cover as the sirens go off.
Get down, run! There's gonna be a bomb. Look at her, she flinged her hair and everything. She's all dressed up. She actually looks pretty healthy. I guess she's back on the adrenochrome, huh?
I guess.
I don't know. That's just a supposition. I should have said that out loud. We're gonna take it down. Can't talk about that stuff on YouTube.
So that's the
There we go.
No,
You guys saw it there. Angelina Jolie makes them look really short.
so that siren is like the
Oh, her face looks weird there. That's a face. That's Angelina Jolie? That doesn't even look like her.
uh-huh.
Whoa, wait a minute. Take back everything I said. I don't even know if that is her, bro. That could be a double. It's not even her, bro. I don't know. That doesn't look normal. What's going on with her face? Is that her? I don't know. You guys in the audience, do you think that's Angelina Jolie? I don't even think that looks like her. Her eyes look different.
So you got the purge siren going off with Angelina Jolie over in Ukraine as like both that eclipse thing and now that iPad goat thing. We're right on track with what that video shows. We're right on track with it. So just wanted to point that stuff out. And all right, as to the position of the sun, I want to talk a little bit quickly about, bring Stellarium up here again. Remember how we took a look and saw that it was in the hoof? All right, let's bring the
Hoof of Aries.
Let's bring it back up. I went the wrong way. All right, it's in the hoof of Aries. So what does that mean calendar-wise? All right, so the precession of the equinox is a topic that usually you only hear from heliocentrists. It is a huge heliocentric debunk, and we're going to explain something.
You don't hear it from them. You don't. You generally hear them allude to it, but nobody ever really gets into the actual discussion of the precession of the equinox.
Yeah, so we're going to get into a topic that if a person knows anything about astrology, you might get triggered by this topic. But we encourage you to test it and see for yourself what we're showing. And there's not much you
Pretty
can...
crazy, actually. But we've been looking at this for a while. This isn't new for Jason and I.
Yeah, not much you can deny about this. But this is like new understanding for us, or clarity. It's new clarity.
I mean, we saw it. We understood what was taking place.
Yeah. All right, so let's explain what's taking place. A lot of people refer to the age of Aquarius, the New Agers. I've seen it popping up a whole bunch, and they try to make it appear that Trump is going to be the leader for the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius. So, did a little bit of research. In the age of Aquarius, they can't put a pinpoint on it, right? So, to reiterate, we at Earth Sky look at the subject from an astronomical perspective. If any knowledgeable astrologers out there would like to show us other ways of determining the age of Aquarius, please do. We welcome your comments. So,
they don't know.
We'll send them a link.
We don't know. They don't know.
We'll send them a link to our Hangout. So, what this timeline shows is the last 6,000. Well, it shows a 6,000 year period. So this is the vernal equinox point westward in front of the backdrop of stars. It shows right here.
Backdrop is the fixed stars. There's 7 that wander throughout the sky, the heavenly 7 luminaries, and the rest of them are called fixed stars. They make up the 12 houses of the zodiac.
Mm-hmm. I got an interesting tidbit on that as well. So I
don't need to yell. I'm deaf. Everybody, forgive me.
What this shows here is year 0. Right, so at the time of Christ, right, this is where the vernal equinox was. It was in Pisces. This is Pisces. There's 2 fish. One fish right here, another fish right here. So at the beginning, at the first fish is when Christ was here. Right? This is the vernal equinox. This is where the sun is at the vernal equinox. Now, 1,000 years later, it was here. Now, 2,000 years later, it's here.
The second fish of Pisces.
It's out here in the second fish of Pisces. Now, where's Aquarius? Aquarius is the next constellation over here, right? And we can show you when we would be in the age of Aquarius. Let's take a look at this in Stellarium. Help people see what's going on here. I'm going to come back north, get myself back in Texas, and I'm going to use my birthday as the example. So,
And narcissistic, huh? I'm kidding.
no,
I'm joking, brother. Come on. It was a joke. You're not a narcissist. Come on.
it's the easiest to reference. So,
Yeah, it's your birthday, which you don't celebrate, really, though.
Yeah.
I never have, right? That's why it's so funny to call you a narcissist on your birthday. Jehovah's Witnesses don't have birthdays. They don't do it, guys. Even though you're not a JW anymore.
all right. So let's see where the sun is on the day I was born. All right. Let's get it back
Be
here.
in Virgo, bro. You're a Virgo, right? It was September.
September
We already
1st.
know, right? Of course the sun's going to be in Virgo. That's your sign.
Nope.
What?
Nope.
What do you mean?
I'm a Leo.
You're a Leo?
I'm a Leo.
You're a lion, huh? Wow. Okay. Cool.
So, how many times have people heard, Ronnie referring to his birthday, August 8th? He knew that he was a Leo. His whole life, he knew that he was a Leo. And it turns out now I'm the Leo and he's a Scorpio. All right. So,
or Cancer?
or Cancer.
Yeah. Let's get it
Cancer.
correct here.
I'm sorry.
Come on. We're on the stage now.
See, that's the reason why I use my birthday.
You have a good one, bro. No, okay. Honestly, this is something that's very interesting. Okay. I've noticed it for a while because when I used to track it, I remember I used to hear, oh, the sun is moving into the position of the lion, generally between the August 8th and 14th to 10th time period. That's what I used to think, right? Oh, yeah, I'm a lion. I'm a Leo. Actually, no, it doesn't happen that way. It's quite later in the actual year.
So this is the chart that everybody that knows their zodiac sign, everybody that knows their zodiac sign knows that, all right, March 21st to 19th, April 19th, Aries. So you go through the list here, and these dates right here have defined what you are. All right, so the reason why Ronnie has always said he's a Leo is because it says July 23rd to August 22nd. Right, so you'd be right smack in the middle of that as a Leo. The reason why I've thought I was a Virgo is because it says August 23rd to September 22nd. September 1st is smack in the middle of that. That would make me the middle of being a Virgo. So why is it when we go to Stellarium that September 1st is right in Leo? And then if we go to Ronnie's birthday, oh, too far.
Trying to rub it in more, bro?
This is just what it is. There's not much we can do about it. All right, so Cancer, how is that possible? How is that possible? Well, the answer is if we go back to the year 1.
Sorry to steal your thunder.
So the sun
Boom.
is in Leo, right, at year 1. All right, what this is showing is that all the zodiac signs, the ones that we're familiar with in this list right here, this was set to the time of Christ, and they haven't changed since. So all these dates are based off of what the zodiac was doing in year 1, not year 2022. And so there is a precession, and I want to show people how that precession looks. You see it, it might help you understand. So now I'm going to start running through this by years. All right, so let me try to get this out away a little bit over here. And now I'm just going to start running this by years. We're at year 1 right now. And watch what happens. I'm just holding this down. And you see it jumping back and forth. And it doesn't seem to be progressing too much. All right, but look at where it is at the foot of Leo right now. All of a sudden we're going to get to a certain point, and after bouncing back and forth a little bit, it's going to advance. All right, you see that advance right there? It changed position a little bit. Now, to speed up this process, we're going to go 1,000. All right, you see where it is now?
Now we're in the heart.
We're up here. Now we're going to go 1,500. All right, it's up here. Now we're going to go 2,000. Look at what happened, everybody.
Like that.
So this is the precession of the equinox. Now the thing that we're going to smash the heliocentrists, just smash them right now, is let's put up this grid right here. As we're going through the years here, if we were to go through the hours of the day, the rotation of the stars, all right, the rotation of the stars never changes. We never vary.
It's fixed.
We never vary from Polaris. That never changes. Now, keep in mind, we moved an entire sign from the time of Christ.
2,000 years.
In 2,000 years. We moved an entire sign. So the precession of the equinox in the heliocentric system is, they say one sign per 26,000 years.
And we did it in 2.
And we did it
2,000.
in 2,000 years without any of the fixed stars changing position.
Nothing's changed. No.
Nothing has changed.
No.
So just
that's a problem for heliocentrism. It's a huge, huge problem. And this is the reason why they don't bring it up, right? That's why you've never heard a flat earth debunk. Someone bring you, look at the precession of the equinox, showing you how the sun has moved from the lion. It's now in Cancer. Absolutely not. What they do is they tell you that the pole star Polaris 20,000 years ago was a different star. That's what they try to tell you. They don't have any evidence, but why aren't they looking at this?
Yeah, so we have advanced an entire sign since the time of Christ, everybody.
Now it doesn't mean that you're not what you think you are, what you were born into, the way that you are. Now, I want to remind people now that an oak tree has oak leaves and it grows like an oak tree. It doesn't matter where that oak tree is planted or what time of year you plant the tree. You too can discern who you are and what tribe you are simply by the way that you are, the way you look, the way you act, the way you speak. That's what you truly have to generalize things on, not on astronomical things all the time.
So the thing a person has to do, like now all the horoscope people, if they get exposed to this information, they're going to have to decide whether or not they're going to go by the sign that they were born on, right, or the sign that Christ was born on. Because if
everybody needs to pick.
Because if you're going to use these Aries, if a person thinks that they're a Sagittarius, or if they think that they're one, if you're going to go by these dates, you're not going by the actual sign that you were born on. So that's where if you go to Stellarium and you look and find your birthday and see where the sun is, that would tell you what zodiac sign you're in. So let's do a couple quick words about the zodiac. I want to bring up an interesting possibility. So Hebrew astronomy and astrology. It is suggested that Martin and others have argued that the arrangement of the tribes around the tabernacle, reported in the book of Numbers, corresponded to the order of the zodiac, with Judah, Reuben, Ephraim, and Dan representing the middle signs of Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, and Scorpio, respectively. So if you take a look at the arrangement of the tribes, you've got the encampment on the right over here that is Judah. This side here is Reuben. This side is Ephraim. This side is Dan. So you have 4 key days in the year. You have 2 equinoxes and 2 solstices. So,
And it was all northeast, south, and west aligned.
so the chances are that all the zodiacs, right, are actually the tribes, the 12 tribes.
That's the land. That's the area in this spiritual kingdom that each of these tribes came from. Your golden threads, so be it. Obviously, Levi's the center one. We don't need to get too into that, but
I got a couple more quick tabs here. This one just came out today. Russian cosmonauts flying the USSR victory flag with its hammer and sickle during the spacewalk on the International Space Station.
wow.
So this was published April 29th. I'll show everybody there. April 29th, the victory flag with the hammer and sickle. So if you remember back to the iPet goat, the guy is sinking with the hammer and sickle in it. So just another headline lining up on top of all that. Not to mention that on April 30th, Russia announced that they're going to quit the International Space Station because of the sanctions. They're going to quit now.
They're out of the pool, huh?
Mm-hmm.
No more swimming for the cosmonauts. Take care, guys. Thanks for faking space all this time, cucks.
This whole time,
I'm sorry, I shouldn't get on like that. Sunday night.
this whole time, you know, Putin, you can see how ill he is. He's holding onto the edge of the table here.
Get out of here with this nonsense.
No, that's seriously, that is
Come
the
on.
only proof in the article that he's ill. The dictator was
To hold
seen
the table.
slouched during a meeting with Sergei earlier this month. So he's supposed to go.
Want to read that? Shall we go? Shall we go?
So he's supposed to go under the knife, and some
Uh-oh.
extremist is supposed to be in
Extremist.
control.
He's got the nuke keys, right?
Yep.
Look out.
So while Angelina Jolie is in Ukraine, so is Pelosi.
Sorry.
And so the top 3 representatives, right, of the U.S. are all over there. Angelina, Pelosi, and Sean Penn. He's over there. He's in the trenches of Ukraine now as a soldier reporter doing a documentary.
Let's go. It's crazy. It's crazy. And some of the wording and language in that article was retarded, but we can skip over that.
Yeah, we can skip over
This is
that.
adult-rated content.
All right, so we could move into Nephi.
Who's starting?
now.
What book are we in?
We are in book
You want me
chapter
to start?
10.
You just did a bunch of talking.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, we'll get the screen share, the thumbnail up first. You can get everything set up.
Yep.
This should be fun. Let's get into the book of Nephi 2. How about you guys? It's not enabled, it says here.
Oh, it's going to be like that.
Unenableability. Unenableability.
You should have it. Oh,
Don't want to mess around with Jacob, bro.
what happened to our thumbnail?
Am I presented? I hope I'm not presented. I got my OBS going, external hard drive. What? That's not supposed to be on there.
I don't know why our thumbnail's not playing.
It's not? It's turned our thumbnail off?
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. I don't know where I can get this up too. What are we doing here? Nephi 2. There we go. Oh, you know what I also need to get is my indigo colored ring.
I'm going to see if I can get this back with a little shock treatment here.
Well, I mean, I'm almost ready if you want to start sizing my screen.
All right.
What? Starts off with Jacob?
Yes.
What are the chances of that?
No.
Get out of here, bro. You're tricking me. How'd you set this up?
It's just the way it works.
Guys ready to get into some reading? Who wants to get up in front of the class and read out aloud? Excuse me.
All right, you should be presented.
Am I?
You are.
Then you probably is it the correct size?
It looks good.
Is the music playing?
Not yet, but it's starting now.
Come on, Maestro. Come on. You owe me $10. Are we good?
We are good.
Okay, it says chapter 10, 2nd Nephi, chapter 10. It says, Jacob explains that the Jays will crucify their Yahawah, or Elohim, and they will be scattered until they begin to believe in him. America will be a land of liberty where no king will rule. Reconcile yourselves to Elohim Yahawah and gain salvation through his grace. 559 through 545 BC. And it says, and now I, Jacob, speak unto you again, my beloved brethren, concerning the righteous branch of which I have spoken. For behold, the promise which we have obtained are promises unto us according to the flesh. Wherefore, as it is being shown unto me, that many of our children shall perish in the flesh because of unbelief. Nevertheless, Yahawah will be merciful unto many, and our children shall be restored, that they may come to that which we will give unto them, the true knowledge of their Redeemer. Wherefore, as I said unto you, it must needs be expedient for Christ. For in the last night of the angel spake unto me, that this should be his name, should come among the Hebrews, among those who are the more wicked part of the world, and they shall crucify him. For thus it behooveth them, our Elohim, and there is none other nation on earth that would crucify their Elohim.
Yeah, so this is now Jacob. This is one of the younger sons of Lehi, and he's speaking and he's prophesying about a Christ. This is many years, like
I don't know,
500.
something sounds weird. I feel like I got my hearing back a little bit. Something sounds off for me in my mic here. This is weird.
You
I
can hear yourself.
again.
Nice.
Yeah, this is weird. Sounds weird. But anyways, one second. And continues on here. It says, for should the mighty miracles be wrought among the other nations, they would repent and know that there be their true Elohim. But because of priestcrafts and iniquities, they at Jerusalem will stiffen their necks against him, that he be crucified. Wherefore, because of their iniquities, destructions, famines, pestilences, and bloodshed shall come upon them. And they who shall not be destroyed shall be scattered among all the nations. But behold, thus saith the Lord Elohim Yahawah, when the day cometh that they shall believe in me, that I am Christ, then I have covenanted with their fathers that they shall be restored in the flesh upon the earth unto the lands of their inheritance. And in 8 it says, and it shall come to pass that they shall be gathered in from the long dispersion, from the islands of the sea, and from the four parts in the corners of the earth. And all of the nations of the Gentiles shall be great in the eyes of me, saith Yahawah, in carrying them forth to the lands of their inheritance. Yea, the kings of the Gentiles shall be nourishing fathers unto them, and their queens shall become nourishing mothers. I do believe we read this, brother. I think we read this chapter, but I'll keep reading it. Wherefore the promises of the Lord are great unto the Gentiles, for he hath spoken it, and who can dispute it? But behold, the land, said Yahawah, shall be a land of thine inheritance, and the Gentiles shall be blessed upon the land. And this land shall be a land of liberty unto the Gentiles, and there shall be no kings upon the land, who shall rise up unto the Gentiles. And I will fortify this land against all of their nations. And he that fighteth against Zion shall perish, saith Yahawah.
We're talking about the Americas right now. That's where where they are.
For he that raiseth up a king against me shall perish. For I, the Lord, the King of heaven, will be their king. And I will be a light unto them forever that hear my words. Wherefore, for this cause that my covenants may be fulfilled, which I have made unto the children of men, that I will do unto them while they are in the flesh, I must needs to destroy the secret works of darkness, and of murderers, and of the great abominations. Wherefore he that fighteth against Zion, both Hebrew and Gentile, both bond and free, both male and female, shall perish. For they are they who are the whore of all of the earth, for they are not for me, for they are against me, saith Yahawah. For I will fulfill my promises which I have made unto the children of men, that I will do unto them while they are in the flesh. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, thus saith our Elohim, I will affect thy seed by the hand of the Gentiles. Nevertheless, I will soften the hearts of the Gentiles, that they shall be like unto a father to them. Wherefore the Gentiles shall be blessed and numbered among the house of Israel. Wherefore I will consecrate this land unto the seed, thy seed, and them who shall be numbered among the seed forever. for the land of their inheritance, for it is a choice land, saith Yahawah unto me, above all other lands. Wherefore I will have all men that dwell thereon, that they shall worship me, saith Yahawah. And now, my beloved brethren, seeing that our merciful Elohim has given us so great of knowledge concerning these things, let us remember him, and lay aside our sins, and not hang down our heads, for we are not cast off. Nevertheless, we have been driven out of the land of our inheritance, but we have been led to a better land. For the Lord has made the sea our path, and we are upon the islands of the sea. But great are the promises of the Lord unto them who are upon the islands of the sea. Wherefore, as it says, islands, there must be needs more than this, and they are inhabited also by our brethren.
So that's interesting. He's talking about how not only are the Americas been settled, but there's other islands, right? So you would think of, Australia, Madagascar, all the big islands. They did have people dispersed to them from the time of the Tower of Babel going down. That's when the people were dispersed. So they have, other human relatives, right? They don't actually know them. They don't know that they're Hebrews. They don't know that way. But they know these people from the dispersion at the Tower of Babel.
True. It says, for behold, the Lord Yahawah has led away from time to time from the house of Israel, according to his will and pleasure. And now behold, the Lord remembereth all them who have been broken off. Wherefore he remembereth also. Therefore cheer up your hearts, and remember that ye are free to act for yourselves, to choose the way of everlasting death or the way of everlasting life. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, reconcile yourselves to the will of Yahawah, and not to the will of the devil in the flesh. And remember, after ye are reconciled unto Yahawah, that is only in through the grace of Yahawah that ye are saved. Wherefore, my Elohim raise you up from the dead by the power of reincarnation, and also from everlasting death by the power of atonement, that ye may be received into the eternal kingdom of Yahawah, that ye may praise him through grace and divine. Amen.
Nice.
Take it away. We're down an hour tonight. Lost an hour. We only got 45 minutes, minus the song, so we got till 9:55. So we're at 9:06 now. That's in the PM. That's for everybody here in the Central Standard Time. That's 10:08 now for the people on the East Coast.
So we're at chapter 11.
You haven't taken the screen share.
Cool.
I don't see what's going on. I don't need to. I can follow along on my own if you want.
We'll do it the easy way.
The easy way? I just like it when you take it, the screen share. It's just simple that way.
Yeah.
Chapter 11, it says, oh, it's back to Jacob, huh?
Saw his Redeemer. The law of Moses typifies Christ and proves he will come about 559 to 545 BC. It's before Christ. And now Jacob spake many more things to my people at that time. Nevertheless, only these things have I caused to be written, for the things which I have written sufficeth me. And now I, Nephi, wrote more of the words of Isaiah. We just read that, right? More Isaiah. For my soul delighteth in his words. For I will liken his words unto my people, and I will send them forth unto all my children. For he verily saw my Redeemer, even as I have seen him. And my brother Jacob also has seen him, and I have seen him. Wherefore I will send their words forth unto my children, to prove unto them that my words are true. Wherefore by the words of 3 Yahweh has said, I will establish my word. Nevertheless Yahweh sends more witnesses, and he proveth all his words. Behold, my soul delighteth in proving unto my people the truth of the coming of Christ. For this end hath the law of Moses been given, and all things which have been given of Yahawah from the beginning of the world unto man are the typifying of him. And also my soul delighteth in the covenants of the Lord which he hath made to our fathers, yea, my soul delighteth in his grace, and in his justice and power, and mercy in the great and eternal plan of deliverance from death. And my soul delighteth in proving unto my people that save Christ should come, all men must perish. For if there be no Christ, this is one of these stacks upon, this is a reasoning stack. For if there be no Christ, then there be no Yahawah. And if there be no Yahawah, we are not. For there could have been no creation, but there is a Elohim, and he is Christ, and he cometh in the fullness of his own time. Now, sometimes in this Nephi, there's the wording is garbled up because they might be operating under the assumption that Christ
Vatican changed. Vatican had their hands in it. Let's be honest.
That Christ was Yahawah. So there is a bit of a conflict with that because Christ is not Yahawah.
We get the same conflict in many different books too, that people have transcribed.
And now I write some of the words of Isaiah, that whoso of my people shall see these words may lift up their hearts and rejoice for all men. Now these are the words, and ye may liken them unto you and unto all men. That was a quick one with 8 verses.
Yeah, go ahead.
How big is the next one? Yeah, this is a small one too. Isaiah sees the latter-day temple, gathering of Israel, and millennial judgment and peace. The proud and wicked will be brought low at the second coming. Compare Isaiah 2. Same time period. The word that Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days, aren't these? When the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and he shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the Elohim of Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more. O house of Jacob, come ye, and let us walk in the light of the Lord. Yea, come, for ye have all gone astray, even one to his wicked ways. Therefore, O Lord, thou hast forsaken thy people, and the house of Jacob, because they be replenished from the east, and hearken unto the soothsayers like the Philistines, and they please themselves in the children of strangers. Their land also is full of silver and gold, neither is there any end of their treasures. Their land is also full of horses, neither is there any end of their chariots. Their land is also full of idols. They worship the work of their own hands, that which their own fingers have made. And the mean man boweth not down, and the great man humbleth himself not, therefore forgive him not. O ye wicked ones, enter into the rock, and hide thee in the dust, for the fear of the Lord and the glory of his majesty shall smite thee. And it shall come to pass that the lofty looks of a man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. For the day of the Lord of hosts soon cometh upon all nations, yea, upon every one, yea, upon the proud and lofty, and upon every one who is lifted up, and he shall be brought low. Yea, and the day of the Lord shall come upon all the cedars of Lebanon, for they are high and lifted up, upon all the oaks of Bashan, and upon all the high mountains, and upon all the hills, and upon the nations which are lifted up, and upon every people, and upon every high tower, and upon every fenced wall, upon all the ships of the sea, and upon all the ships of Tarshish, and upon all pleasant pictures. And the loftiness of men shall be bowed down, and the haughtiness of men shall be made low, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. And the idols he shall utterly abolish. And he shall go into the holes of the rocks, and into the caves of the earth, for the fear of the Lord shall come upon them, and the glory of his majesty shall smite them, when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth. In that day a man shall cast his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which he hath made for himself to worship, to the moles and to the bats, to go into the clefts of the rocks, and into the tops of the ragged rocks. For the fear of the Lord shall come upon them, and the majesty of his glory shall smite them, when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth. Cease ye from man, whose breath is in his nostrils, for within he to be accounted of? All right. Going on to chapter 13.
Chapter 13.
There you go, brother.
It says here, Judah and Jerusalem will be punished for their disobedience. And the Lord pleads. And for what happened to my mic? Something's not right here. 1 second. Judah and Jerusalem will be punished for their disobedience. The Lord pleads for and judges his people. And the daughters of Zion are cursed and tormented for their worldliness. It says here, for behold, the Lord of Lords and host of hosts, Lord of Lords and Lord of hosts, doeth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole staff of bread, and the whole stay of water, the mighty man and the man of war, the judge and the prophet, and the prudent and the ancient, and the captain of 50, and the honorable man, and the counselor, and the cunning artificer, and of the eloquent orator. And I will give children unto them to be their princes, and babes shall rule over them. And the people shall be oppressed, every one by another, and every one by his neighbor. And the child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient, and the base against his honorable. And when a man shall take hold of his brother of the house of his father, and shall say, Thou hast clothing, be thou our ruler, and let us not this ruin come under thy hand. And in that day shall he swear, saying, I will not be a healer, for in my house there is neither bread nor clothing. Make me not a ruler of the people. For Jerusalem is ruined, and Judah is fallen, because of their tongues and their doings, having against the Lord, to provoke the eyes of his glory. The show of their countenance doeth witness against them, and doeth declare their sin to be even as Sodom, and they cannot hide it. And woe unto their souls, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. Say unto the righteous, that it is well with them, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings. But woe unto the wicked, for they shall perish, for the reward of their hands shall be upon them. And my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they who led thee, cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. And the Lord standeth up to plead, and standeth to judge the people. And the Lord will enter into judgment with the ancients of his people and the princes thereof. For ye have eaten up the vineyard, and the spoil of the poor in your houses. What mean ye? Ye beat my people to pieces, and grind them. The faces of the poor, saith the Lord of hosts. Moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks, and wanton eyes, walking and menacing as they go, and making and tinkling with their feet. Therefore the Lord will smite a scab of the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. And in that day the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments and cowls, and round tires like the moon, and the chains and the bracelets and of their mufflers, and the bonnets and the ornaments of their legs, and the headbands and the tablets of their earrings, and the rings and of the nose jewels, and the changeable suits of apparel, and the mantles, and the wimples, and the crisping pins, and the glasses, and the fine linen and hoods, and their veils. And it shall come to pass, instead of the sweet smell, that there shall be a stinking, and instead of a girdle, a rent, and instead of a well-set hair, baldness, and instead of a stomacher, a grinding of sackcloth, burning instead of beauty. And thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war. And her gates shall lament and mourn, and she shall be desolate, and shall sit upon the ground. Should I keep going?
You know, the next chapter is just a 6th verse, and then the one after that a little bit longer.
Okay, I guess I'll do 2 more and give it back to you.
Well, the one after that's like 30 something odd verses. So the next one's 6. Yeah, 14 is 6.
Okay.
But go as long as you want.
And in that day, 7 women shall take a hold of one man, saying, will we eat our own bread and wear our own apparel? Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. And in that day the branch of the Lord be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth excellent and comely to them that are escaped of Israel. And it shall come to pass that they are left in Zion and remain in Jerusalem shall be called holy, every one that is written among the living in Jerusalem. And when the Lord shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion, and shall have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof by the spirit of judgment and by the spirit of burning. And the Lord will create upon every dwelling place of Mount Zion, and upon her assemblies a cloud, and smoke by day, and the shining of a flaming fire by night. For upon all the glory of Zion shall be a defense, and there shall be a tabernacle for a shadow in the daytime from the heat, and for a place of refuge, and of a covert of a storm from rain, covering from the storm of rain. Yeah, you can take the screen share, brother, and keep it going.
Chapter 15. The Lord's vineyard, Israel, will become desolate, and his people will be scattered. Woes will come upon them in their apostate and scattered state. The Lord will lift an ensign and gather Israel. Compare Isaiah 5. And then will I sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved touching his vineyard. My well-beloved hath a vineyard and a very fruitful hill. And he fenced it, and gathered out the stones thereof, and planted it with the choicest vine, and built a tower in the midst of it, and also made a winepress therein. And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and he brought forth wild grapes. And now, inhabitants of Jerusalem and men of Judah, judge, I pray you, betwixt me and my vineyard. What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, it brought forth wild grapes. And now to go, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedge thereof, and it shall be eaten up. And I will break down the wall thereof, and it shall be trodden down. And I will lay it waste. It shall not be pruned nor digged, but there shall come up briars and thorns. I will also command the clouds that they rain no rain upon it. For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel, and the men of Judah his pleasant plant. And he looked for judgment, and behold, oppression, for righteousness, but behold a cry. Woe unto them that join house to house, till there can be no place, that they may be placed alone in the midst of the earth. In mine ears, said the Lord of hosts, of a truth many houses shall be desolate, and great and fair cities without inhabitant. Yea, 10 acres of vineyard shall yield 1 bath, and the seed of a homer shall yield an ephah. Woe unto them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink, that continue until night, and wine inflame them. And the harp, and the viol, the tabret, and pipe, and wine are in their feasts, but they regard not the work of the Lord, neither consider the operation of his hands. Therefore my people are gone into captivity, because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst. Therefore hell hath enlarged herself, and opened her mouth without measure. And their glory, and their multitude, and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it. And the mean man shall be brought down, and the mighty man shall be humbled, and the eyes of the lofty shall be humbled. But the Lord of hosts shall be exalted in judgment, and Yahweh that is holy shall be sanctified in righteousness. Then shall the lambs feed after their manner, and the waste places of the fat ones shall strangers eat. Woe unto them that draw iniquity with cords of vanity, and sin in it were with a cart rope. They say, let him make a speed, hasten his work, that we may see it, and let the counsel of the Holy One of Israel draw nigh and come, that we may know it. Woe unto them that call evil good, and good evil, that put darkness for light, and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet, and sweet for bitter. The total inversion. We've been covering the inversion a lot lately. Woe unto the wise in their own eyes, and prudent in their own sight. Woe unto the mighty to drink wine, and men of strength to mingle strong drink. Who justifieth the wicked for reward, and take away the righteousness of the righteous from them? Therefore As the fire devoureth the stubble, and the flame consumeth the chaff, their root shall be rottenness, and their blossoms shall go up as dust, because they have cast away the law of the Lord of hosts, and despised the word of the Holy One of Israel. Therefore is the anger of the Lord kindled against his people, and he hath stretched forth his hand against them, and hath smitten them, and the hills did tremble, and their carcasses were torn in the midst of the streets. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. And he will lift up an ensign to the nations from far, and will hiss unto them from the end of the earth, and behold, they shall come with speed swiftly. None shall be weary, nor stumble among them. None shall slumber, nor sleep, neither shall the girdle of their loins be loosed, nor the latchet of their shoes be broken. Whose arrows shall be sharp, and all their bows bent, and their horses' hoofs shall be counted like flint, and their wheels like a whirlwind, their roaring like a lion. They shall roar like young lions, yea, they shall roar, and lay hold of the prey, and shall carry away safe, and none shall deliver. And in that day they shall roar against them like a roaring of the sea. And if they look unto the land, behold, darkness and sorrow, and the light is darkened in the heavens thereof. You want to take over, brother?
Sure. That was a good book, though. Lots of references to modern day stuff.
Yeah,
Lots of that. Lots. It says chapter 15. Oh, sorry. The Lord's vineyard will become desolate, and his people will be scattered. Woes will come upon them in their apostate and scattered state. And the Lord will lift up an ensign and gather Israel. And then I will sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved, touching his vineyard. My well-beloved hath a vineyard in his very faithful hill. And he fenced it and gathered out the stones thereof and planted it with the choice. Did you just read this? Did you just read 15? Or is it being repeated? I think you just read this.
Yeah, I just read chapter 15.
Whew. I know it does repeat. The scriptures do that. They do. It's a little bit of redundancy sometimes, but it helps you. You just don't realize it. It says, Isaiah sees the Lord. Isaiah's sins are forgiven, and he is called to prophesy. And he prophesies of the rejection by the Jews of Christ's teachings. A remnant will return. And that's the only time you'll hear me use that word when it's correctly put in its correct term. And it says, in the year that the king Uzziah died, I saw also the Lord sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, and his train filled the temple. Above it stood the seraphim. Each one had 6 wings. With twain it covered his face, and with twain it covered his feet, and with twain he did fly. And one cried unto another and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is filled with his glory. And the posts of the door moved at the voice of him that cried, and the house was filled with smoke. And then said I, Woe unto me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For mine eyes have seen the King and the Lord of hosts. And then flew one over the seraphim unto me, having a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with the tongs from off the altar. And he laid it upon my mouth and said, Lo, this has touched thine lips, and thine iniquity has taken away, and thy sin purged. Also I heard a voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send? And who will go for us? And then I said, Here I am, send me. And he said, Go and tell the people, Hear ye indeed, but they understood me not. And see ye indeed, but they perceived me not. Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and be converted and healed. Then said I, Lord, how long? And he said, Until the cities be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without men, and the land will be utterly desolate. And the Lord hath removed men far away, where there shall be a great forsaking in the midst of the land. But yet there shall be a 10th, and they shall return, and shall be eaten as the teal tree, and as an oak whose substance is in them,
when they cast their leaves, so the holy seed shall be the substance thereof. Should I read one more? Is that
Yeah, the
all?
next chapter is 25 verses, so you might as well.
Okay, one sec. So it says Ephraim. This is the big thing that all the so-called Jews like to talk about, the Gentiles, and they like to link it to Ephraim. Ephraim and Syria wage war against who? Judah. Christ will be born of a virgin. This is again 559 to 545 BC. And it came to pass in the days of Ahaz, the son of Jotham, and the son of Uzziah, king of Judah, that Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, went up towards Jerusalem to war against it, but could not prevail. And it was told the house of David, saying, Syria is confederate with Ephraim, and his heart was moved, and the heart of his people, as the trees of the wood are moved with the wind. Then the Lord said unto Isaiah, Go forth now to meet Ahaz. Am I saying that right? Ahaz. Thou art Shir-Jezebub. That's a tough one right there. Shir-Jezebub. Shir-Jezebub?
Yeah, you almost got it right the first time. That was awesome.
Shir-Jezebub. Shir-Jezebub, thy son, and at the end of the conduit of the upper pool in the highway of the fuller's field. And say unto them, Take heed and be quiet. Fear not, neither be faint-hearted, for the two tails of these smoking firebrands, for the fierce anger of Rezin with Syria, and of the son of Remaliah, because Syria, Ephraim, and the son of Remaliah have taken evil counsel against thee, saying, Let us go up against Judah and vex it, and let us make a breach therein for us, and set a king in the midst of it, yea, the son of Tabil. Thus saith Yahawahashai, It shall not stand, neither shall it come to pass. For the head of Syria is Damascus. We just heard a scripture about this. Isaiah 41, right? Or no, that was from, I was also talking about Amos today. If you guys didn't know, quick side note, that Jerusalem has started funding for the building of the third temple, and they put King David's crown on one of the sides of the coins. Let's get back into this. And it says, In the head of Damascus, Rezin, and with 65 years shall Ephraim be broken, that it not be a people at all. And the head of Ephraim is Samaria, and the head of Samaria is Remaliah's son. If ye will not believe, surely ye shall be not established. Moreover, the Lord spake again unto Ahaz, saying, Ask thee a sign of the Lord thy Elohim. Ask it either in the depths or in the heights above. But Ahaz may know to refuse the evil and choose good. For behold, the child shall now to refuse the evil and choose the good, and the land that thou abhorrest shall be forsaken of both her kings. And the Lord shall bring upon thee and upon thy people and upon thy father's house days that have not come from that day of Ephraim departed from Judah the king of Assyria. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall hiss for the fly that is in the uppermost part of Egypt, and for the bee that is in the land of Assyria. And they shall come and shall rest all of them in the desolate valleys and in the holes of the rocks and upon all the thorns and upon the bushes. And in the same day shall the Lord shave with a razor that he is hired by them beyond the river by the king of Assyria, the head and the hair of their feet, and it shall also consume the beard. And it shall come to pass in that day a man shall nourish a young cow and 2 sheep. And it shall come to pass for the abundance of milk that they shall give, he shall eat butter, for butter and honey shall everyone eat that is left in the land. And it shall come to pass in that day, every place shall be where there were 1,000 vines and 1,000 silverlings, which shall be for bearers and thorns. With arrows and with bows shall men come thither, because all of the land shall become briars and thorns, and all the hills shall be digged with a mattock. There shall not come thither the fear of briars and thorns, but it shall be for the sending forth of oxen and the treading of the lesser cattle. Some of these words, man, come thither. All this old English sometimes makes me laugh. It really does. Darn allergies are getting me, guys. I'm sorry.
All right, chapter 18. Christ will be as a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense. Seek the Lord, not prepping wizards. Turn to the law and to the testimony for guidance. Compare Isaiah 8. Moreover, the word of the Lord said unto me, Take thee a great roll, and write in it with a man's pen concerning Maher-shalal-Bashar-Baz. And I took unto me faithful witnesses to record, Uriah the priest, and Zechariah the son of Zebarachiah. And I went unto the prophetess, and she conceived and bare a son. Then she said the Lord to me, Call his name Maher-shalal-Hash-Baz. For behold, the child shall not have knowledge to cry, My father and my mother, before the riches of Damascus, and the spoil of Samaria shall be taken away before the king of Assyria. The Lord spake also unto me, saying, Forasmuch as this people refuseth the waters of Shiloh that go softly, and rejoice in Rezin and Remaliah's son, now therefore, behold, the Lord bringeth up upon them the waters of the river strong and many, even as the king of Assyria and all his glory, and he shall come up over all his channels, and go over all his banks. And he shall pass through Judah, he shall overflow and go over, he shall reach even to the neck, and the stretching out of his wings shall fill the breadth of thy land, O Emmanuel. Associate yourselves, O ye people, and ye shall be broken in pieces. And give ear, all ye of far countries, gird yourselves, and ye shall be broken in pieces. Gird yourselves, and ye shall be broken in pieces. Take counsel together, and it shall come to naught. Speak the word, and it shall not stand, for Yahawah is with us. For the Lord spake thus to me with a strong hand, and instructed me that I should not walk in the way of this people, saying, Say ye not a confederacy, to all to whom this people shall say, A confederacy. Neither fear ye their fear, nor be afraid. Sanctify the Lord of hosts himself, and let him be your fear, and let him be your dread. And he shall be for a sanctuary, but for a stone and stumbling, and for a rock of offense, to both the houses of Israel, for a gin and a snare to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And many among them shall stumble and fall, and be broken, and be snared, and be taken. Bind up the testimony, seal the law among my disciples. And I will wait upon the Lord that hideth his face from the house of Jacob, and I will look for him. Behold, I and the children whom the Lord hath given me are for signs and for wonders in Israel from the Lord of hosts, which dwelleth in Mount Zion. And when they shall say unto you, Seek unto them that have familiar spirits, and unto wizards that peep and mutter, and should not a people seek unto their Elohim for their living to hear from the dead? To the law and to the testimony, and if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. And they shall pass through it hardly beset and hungry. And it shall come to pass that when they shall be hungry, they shall fret themselves, and curse their king and their Elohim, and look upward. And they shall look unto the earth, and behold trouble, and darkness, dimness of anguish, and shall be driven to darkness.
Why don't you just finish it off and read the next one yourself, brother? I'm just having issues here, so I'm good. Yeah, just read one more, I think. We'll play us out.
All right. Chapter 19. Isaiah speaks messianically. The people in darkness will see a great light. Unto us a child is born. He will be the Prince of Peace, and will reign on David's throne. Compare Isaiah 9. Nevertheless, the dimness shall not be such as was in her vexation, when at first he lightly afflicted the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, and afterwards did more grievously afflict by the way of the Red Sea beyond Jordan in Galilee of the nations. The people that walked in darkness have seen a great light. They that dwell in the land of the shadow of death, upon them hath the light shined. Thou hast multiplied the nation, and increased the joy. They joy before thee according to the joy in harvest, and as men rejoice when they divide the spoil. For thou hast broken the yoke of his burden, and the staff of his shoulder, and the rod of his oppressor. For every battle of the warriors is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. For unto us a child is born, Unto us a son is given, and the government shall be unto his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the mighty Son of the Son of the mighty Elohim, the everlasting Son of the Father, Prince of Peace. Of the increase of government and peace there is no end, upon the throne of David, and upon his kingdom, to order it, and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth, even forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. The Lord sent his word unto Jacob, and it hath lighted upon Israel. And all the people shall know, even Ephraim and the inhabitants of Samaria, that say in the pride and stoutness of heart, the bricks have fallen down, but we will build with hewn stones. The sycamores are cut down, but we will change them into cedars. Therefore the Lord shall set up the adversaries of Rezin against him, and join his enemies together, the Syrians before and the Philistines behind, and they shall devour Israel with open mouth. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. For the people turneth not unto him that smiteth them, neither do they seek the Lord of hosts. Therefore will the Lord cut off from Israel head and tail, branch and rush in one day. The ancient, he is the head, and the prophet that teacheth lies, he is the tail. For the leaders of this people cause them to err, and they that are led by them are destroyed. Therefore the Lord shall have no joy in their young men, neither shall have mercy on their fatherless and widows, for every one of them is a hypocrite and an evildoer, and every mouth speaketh folly. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. For wickedness burneth as the fire, it shall devour the briars and the thorns, and shall kindle in the thickets of the forest, and they shall mount up like the lifting of a smoke. Through the wrath of the Lord of hosts is the land darkened, and the people shall be as fuel of the fire. No man shall spare his brother. And he shall snatch out of the right hand and be hungry, and he shall eat on the left hand, and they shall not be satisfied. They shall eat every man the flesh of his own arm. Manasseh, Ephraim, Manasseh, they together shall be against Judah. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still.
And that's some pretty insane, like, what they're saying there. Like,
yeah,
I think we're right upon all this being fulfilled.
I really do. Yeah, everything.
All the stuff we've been going through, it's crazy how everything's lining up. It's not coincidental.
I don't believe in coincidences.
And I'm glad tonight was fun. I love getting into these scriptures. I like how we're now like sort of mixing. We're mixing everything. We got the daily realm, mixing with the rise and grind, mixing with the Sunday spiritual times. This is great. This is what we should do. We've got good music. We've got just a mixture of flow going on. I'm thankful that we had everybody in the chat. You guys are great. I didn't see any issues. Thank you a lot, YD, for all you do, obviously. Did you have any takeaways from these books? I thought the takeaways for me were simply these are all end time prophetic scriptures talking about wondrous mysteries that have been done. A righteous branch was broken off and protected and brought to what's saying here, the land of liberty. Right? They're talking about the Americas in this book, right? And it's go ahead.
The exact same judgments that we hear in Isaiah and Jeremiah and Ezekiel.
The book of Revelation,
Daniel,
all these on Isaiah, Amos, like
this just reiterates all those same judgments, just from one more point of view. But it is absolutely tuned exactly the same way as all the ones that we're already familiar with.
Yeah, they all go hand in hand. It's great. I'm glad that we're going through these now. And yeah, Jason, I understand you're excited. You see stuff being fulfilled. You see the times approaching. Me too. For all you that weary out there and that whimper and moan in the night due to pain or loneliness, soon too you're going to be comforted, because the scriptures keep telling us that it's going to get reversed. All those that are oppressed. It said, we just read a chapter in here about censorship. There was talk about censorship, those that are stifling the righteous and promoting the wicked, making evil good, good for evil. We're seeing a lot of this stuff actually happening right now. The language is obviously hard. This is old English, right? We're thither this and thus and twas, and You know, if you could see through that language and hear the language that's being spoken, it's very timely for us right now, right? They're constantly talking about how the people of Israel are worshiping their own Elohim. They're not serving the true one, the father of Jacob. They're not looking into the fathers. Now, one other thing I wanted to just lastly point out is when you hear the scroll up, please, was this the one where they were talking about the father and you were like, no, or was that the last book? Was it in 18? If you go to 18, I just wanted to point out here who they're talking about, because I guess I have some insight here. We get to that spot. Keep going. You're right here. Is this it? Where is it said? If you did the command F, it was the father. The word father was brought into it.
Oh, that was towards the end, I think.
Towards the end, right?
No, it might be in the last chapter.
Too far. Was it in the last one? Then you could command F
it's right
there.
here.
For unto us a child is born, and unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty Elohim, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. So when we see this reference here, this is a title, right? Now, we have many titles for many characters, but if we're going to call one Father that's not Yahawah, there's only one character in the scriptures that does have this title, and that is Adam. Adam is the father of mankind. He was the first and the last. So you're getting another name here for Adam. Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty Elohim, the Everlasting Father, and he's also given another title. These are a bunch of different titles for the same character. Wonderful Counselor, Mighty Elohim, because he has the power, and the Everlasting Father and the Prince of Peace. So just to let everybody know, they're not alluding to Yahawah here. It would say Yahawah, the Lord of hosts, right? Enoch called him the Father of hosts, the Creator of spirit, right? That's not the same title here. This is different. So I just wanted to point that out. And of course, when Adam was made, if you look in the book of the Cave of Treasures, you get that everything in creation was put under Adam. He was made ruler, the government. He was the head of it. He's the head of everything. He named every animal. So I just want to make sure people understand that.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a little tough to read when it says Everlasting Father, but you explained it perfectly. That is a title that does apply to Adam.
Only Adam. You can't apply that to anyone else. You can't even apply that title to Christ, right? Because he wasn't the father of mankind, or he was. It's yet to be determined. There's so many wonderful mysteries. Like in another book that I was studying not that long ago, it talked about how the dead inherit the living, right? So if we start to understand how reincarnation works, I also had an interesting thing happen. This is the last thing I'm going to say before we end it out, unless you have more that you want to bring up. People bringing up again what being born again means. And if you go into the scriptures and you look up the scripture where Christ was talking to Nicodemus, all you have to do is say, they use the word Jesus in the keyword search. Jesus talks to Nicodemus. That's where you get the word being born again interjected into the scriptures. And he was not talking about dipping your head into water and saying you've been born again. He literally, Nicodemus said, how is it that a man could go back into his mother's womb again as an old man and be born again? And Christ said to him, that is not the way that it works. He explained to him that what is born of flesh is just simply flesh, but what is born of spirit is spirit. And through the breath of life, spirit is blown back into characters. So the truth about being born again was being born again into the kingdom of the Father meant you had to be born again through woman. Being born again through the water and of the spirit. The spirit is what creates life. It's what blows the breath of life into man. So being born again simply meant reincarnating. There's no other way in this realm. Nobody floated down from the sky save Yahawah. He is the only one that floated down from the sky. Christ floated up on his own accord. He didn't need a chariot. Like Elijah and Enoch both had chariots that took them out of here. They didn't float down. They were born through woman. The water means woman, womb. And something else that a lot of people don't understand that I feel that we need to continue to try to help people understand, because the message of the gospel, the word gospel, it means good news. They were going around telling people, hey, we've got good news. The one that we call Christ, right? He told us that we're never going to die. Even if these fleshly bodies die, we'll be brought back again.
He's the
That was the good.
He's the great resurrector.
He was the great resurrector. That's what he was saying. I am the resurrection. I am the reincarnated one. I am here to tell you that you too can be reincarnated forever. And of course, everyone that knew the message brutally went to their death. And they did it happily. The scripts, and not only just Hebrew people wrote about this, the Gentile people of all the nations also took account of these brave people that were tortured to death for the testimony of everlasting life. And don't you for one second, don't think that the Vatican didn't instantaneously sink their teeth into it. After they finished killing all the people that were speaking the message that I'm speaking to you right now, they went in and changed it and said, no, being born again means you've been absolved of your sin. You've been born again as an adult. You walked back into your mother's womb and came out again. That's what they went around. And because of the Christian dogma and the mind control, the entire world has fallen astray to it. The majority of people that call themselves Christians think they've been born again in their very same life, which is, it's just ridiculous. It's nothing but a contradiction. Yet here we are, Sunday, May 1st, 2022, 9:51 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I've just explained it to you guys. And I only tell you guys what the Father tells me. You guys do the rest. Take it for what you want.
No, but it's a powerful teaching, and it's one that's it's not going away, and we'll just keep going over it.
Well, yeah, I mean, when I ask you, brother, yeah, I know you know the answer. But if we were to go and poll 1,000 people, let me get this. No,
1 million.
If I were to go and poll 8 billion people, what is the good news of the gospel of the New Testament? None of them are going to tell you it's reincarnation and living forever. They're not going to tell you. And why is that? Why have everybody turned a blind eye and a deaf ear to this truth? And I can tell you, because they've all hardened their hearts. People ask, my mom asked me, Ronnie, why are you so emotional sometimes on the morning show? People ask me, are you okay? You keep breaking down. It's like, you guys having a tender heart where you're emotional like that is absolutely a gift. It's a gift. You guys have no idea how grateful and thankful I am that my heart is so emotional and joyous. You guys have no idea. That is the absolute highest level gift I could be ever given. Having a tender, sweet heart is the absolute highest of the heights of mankind's attributes. Nothing will ever compare to a tender heart of a man.
Well, that's been a great evening. Spiritual Sunday, we got to go through a number of things. We've got some things that are being fulfilled. We had that sun darkened in South America. That was an iPad goat. We have Angelina Jolie in the headlines, which was an iPad goat. Plus, let's not forget that the scriptures prophesy that the sun will be darkened and the moon turned to blood before that great and terrible day. So we've got the blood moon coming up, right? And that blood moon is second Passover. So going forward here, we're going to be getting people ready for second Passover that did not participate the first time around. If you participated the first time around, this is not for you. I mean, you can witness it, you can do it again, but this is for the people that didn't partake before. I'm hoping that there's some big event in the world that we can get the attention of some people, and we can get them to partake in this second Passover, because I think the Great Tribulation is upon us. I think we're going to hear something in the headlines in the next couple of days, and it should be exciting. Everybody should be exciting. So that was it for tonight. I guess Wednesday night we'll be live again. Ronnie's continuing to do the rise and grind, even though we're back to work now, and we'll
be
just
half an hour earlier.
Yeah, we'll just keep doing what we can.
Get my shameless plug in. Join me on the Limitless Channel here at 6:30 Central Standard Time tomorrow morning, and it might even get earlier. We'll see.
All right. Well, where's the only place anybody's going to hear any of this content, brother?
Only on the home of the rising dawn of the new Aeon. Only on Yahawahashai News Network.
Just Son of a day, got up in the sweat, wondering if my dreams are fiction. I went out in the rain, dressed up with fear. All I could hear was my voice swearing. I'm fighting the air, pushing the pain away till I hear my voice saying, ain't giving up, there's no way. Ain't giving up, there's no way. The sky got clear, I believe what's made for me will fall its way. I'm far from home, it's not always easy for this life to make sense.